Roommate kept using my makeup without asking, so I made sure she'd never do it again. I shared an apartment with a girl named Sarah who had absolutely no concept of boundaries. At first, I thought her quirks were just part of living with someone new. Everyone has their habits, right? But as the weeks turned into months, her habits became unbearable. She constantly borrowed my stuff without asking. And by borrowed, I mean she took my things as if they were hers and rarely, if ever, returned them. It started small. A missing shirt here, a pair of shoes gone there. I'd see her wearing my clothes when she'd head out with her friends. I tried to brush it off. Maybe she didn't realize how much it annoyed me. But things escalated quickly. Soon, it wasn't just clothes and shoes. She started using my makeup, which felt like a massive invasion of my personal space. Makeup isn't just expensive, it's personal. Each product is carefully chosen to suit specific needs, and here she was, smearing her fingers through my eyeshadow palettes and using my mascara without a second thought. I told her countless times to stop. I tried to keep my tone calm, explaining that I didn't mind lending things occasionally if she'd just ask first. But she always brushed it off like it wasn't a big deal. "Relax," she'd say with a dismissive wave of her hand. "We're roommates. Sharing is part of the deal." I felt like I was going crazy. Sharing is one thing, but this was theft disguised as generosity. The final straw came one Saturday evening. I had been saving up for a high-end foundation that matched my skin tone perfectly. It wasn't cheap, but it was worth every penny. I came home after a long day to find the foundation bottle on my vanity. It was covered in smudges, the pump clogged with dried product. My stomach sank. I knew immediately that Sarah had used it. When I checked, the bottle was nearly empty. She had clearly slathered it on without a care in the world, likely for one of her wild party nights. I confronted her about it the next morning. "Did you use my foundation?" I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She barely looked up from her phone. "Oh, yeah. I ran out of mine. Yours is really nice, by the way." Her nonchalance set my blood boiling. I could feel my hands shaking as I tried to hold back my frustration. "Sarah, that's expensive. You can't just take my stuff like that." She rolled her eyes. "Don't be so dramatic. I'll buy you another one, okay?" But she never did. That was her pattern, empty promises and no follow-through. I decided then and there that I wasn't going to let her walk all over me anymore. If she couldn't respect my things, I'd make her think twice about using them. That week, I hatched a plan. I went to a dollar store and bought the cheapest foundation I could find. It was several shades darker than my skin tone and had an unflattering orange undertone. To make it even worse, I mixed in a bit of self-tanner. The concoction looked like something out of a bad spray tan nightmare. Satisfied with my handiwork, I poured it into my nearly empty high-end foundation bottle and left it in plain sight on my vanity. Then I waited. Sure enough, the next Saturday, Sarah was getting ready for another night out. I watched from the living room as she grabbed my foundation bottle and disappeared into the bathroom. My heart raced with anticipation. Would she notice the difference? Would she have the nerve to use it again? After about 20 minutes, she emerged, her face noticeably darker than the rest of her body. She had that telltale orange hue that screamed, "bad makeup job." I had to bite my lip to keep from laughing. She grabbed her purse and waltzed out the door, completely oblivious. I spent the rest of the evening imagining the reactions she'd get at the party. Would someone tell her? Would she realize it herself in the bathroom mirror? The possibilities were endless. The next morning, she stormed into the apartment, her face a mixture of anger and embarrassment. "What the hell was wrong with your foundation?" she demanded. I played dumb. "What do you mean?" "People were laughing at me all night," she yelled. "My face looked like a freaking pumpkin." I shrugged, feigning concern. "Oh no, maybe it wasn't your shade. Are you sure you applied it right?" Her eyes narrowed, but she didn't say anything else. She stomped off to her room, slamming the door behind her. From that day on, she never touched my stuff again. It was like magic. My clothes stayed in my closet, my shoes where I left them, and my makeup remained untouched. Living with Sarah became much more tolerable after that. We still weren't best friends by any means, but the boundaries I'd been fighting for were finally respected. Sometimes you have to teach people lessons in creative ways to get your point across. Looking back, I don't regret what I did. Sure, it was petty, but it was also effective. Sarah needed to learn that actions have consequences, and I needed to reclaim my sense of control in a living situation that had felt overwhelmingly one-sided. I hoped she'd think twice before taking someone else's things without asking in the future. In the months that followed, I found myself smiling whenever I thought about that orange face. It became an inside joke with my friends when I told them the story. "You really did that?" they'd ask, laughing. And I'd nod, proud of my resourcefulness. Sometimes, a little ingenuity is all it takes to set things right.